This is Doug with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks again, and this is the second installment on this video. So if you haven't watched the first one, you might want to pause or stop and go and look at the first one. But I'm building a table for a lady, and she wanted X legs, and I'm figuring out. So I'm showing how Corel Draw helped me design this and drew it. So here's my X, and I've kind of moved some things around since the first video, so if you haven't watched the first video, please watch it. My laser bed is, getting off the subject a little bit, is a big one. I have a Fusion M2, it's 40 by 28. Well, these legs are, well, they actually are 28, so it would have fit either way. But trying to get, when I cut this out, I only had one piece of MDF that I was going to use for a pattern. And this pattern is going to save you tremendously amount of work and time, and it's really neat. You need to cut out a pattern for a couple of reasons, and I'll go over them in just a second. But I was able to find out the angle. So I've got two long pieces, or one long piece for each side and two short pieces for each side. So I knew my angle was 40 degrees for the top and the top of the bar, but I didn't know what this angle was, and so I just did it on, I'll just do another one real quick. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Take your angular dimension tool, get on that node, hold down your control button so you draw a straight line down, and then just angle it over, and it's 10 degrees. It's actually 10.06. But in metalworking, that's pretty close, because you can weld in any gap. Now in woodworking, that might not fly, but in metalworking, as long as your gap isn't too much, you can work with it. But anyway, I wanted to cut it out as a pattern, and I can't get it all to fit on the laser bed. I only had one piece of MDF at the house and I live kind of out in the sticks, and I didn't want to drive, and one part isn't as important. These two pieces, this piece right here that I'll fill with black, and this piece right here, are more important than any other piece. The X is just going to be a template you can lay on top of your work before you weld it to make sure you've kind of got your angles right. And then to do this, you'd weld it together so it would all cut out. Well, let's just do that real quick. Let's get this out of the way. You would take this and turn it into curves. Well, that didn't even work. Oh, I know what I've done. I've grouped it together, ungroup all objects. And then I'm going to weld it together. And there's the piece that's going to cut out. So this is going to save me a little bit of time, but not as much as these two pieces are going to save me. Because once you've got these, and you only need one of each, once you've got these cut out of MDF, so if you didn't have enough room, I would just scrap this. This isn't important as these two pieces. So if you can cut out these two pieces, you can, the degrees are like 5-degree markings on a chop saw. Some of them are 10. So 1 or 2 degrees isn't really noticeable by the human eye. But if you can use your template, and this is a 1/4 inch piece of MDF, and I would always make the 45-degree one first. So let's just do this, and it would look like that on my chop saw. My blade's going to come from here. So I would lay this in my vise and butt this 50 or 40 degrees cut to my saw, and then clamp down my saw, so my angle is now going to be the angle of that. And then you can take your steel and put it in there and cut this angle, and it's going to be the same angle as your pattern. Now, once you've got all 4 of them cut, you don't want to move the saw. You want to cut them all the same angle. So once you've got them cut, you could take that same piece of wood, turn it around, put this angle on your new fresh angle of your steel, and then bring this on. You would have your MDF on top of your steel, and bring this piece flat with your steel blade, so you know you've changed it over to 10 degrees, and then all 4 of your pieces are going to be identical. That might be a little bit confusing. But anyway, to go over just real quick, I needed to get all 4 of these pieces in my laser. I only had 1 piece of MDF left that was big enough, and so what I did, and this is from previous videos, I was able to get the whole tabletop, or both legs on my, well, let's just do it real quick. Let's group that together, Control G, P, center the page. And now I've cut out all 4 pieces on my laser bed. And if your laser, if you don't have a big enough laser, let's say you have a Helix that's 24 by 18, you might even have to do this. But anyway, I put joints real easily, and there's a couple of videos of mine out there on how to do that. So I was able to put this in 2 pieces, because these 2 pieces aren't as important as these 2 pieces. These 2 pieces right here are, you wouldn't believe how much time they're going to save you. Because one, you're going to get your angle of your saw correct, because you're going to use this piece of wood to set your saw, because you can butt this up against your saw blade when you're holding down when you're adjusting your clamp. And the same piece of wood is going to be your length after you cut all your, and I would cut, so you're going to have 2 of these for the table and 4 of these for the table. I would cut all your 50-degree angles or 40-degree angles before, and not move the saw around, and then go back and cut these 4. Because this one right here, you're going to have on your saw, you're going to cut that, you're going to use it as a guide to set your saw blade up at 40 degrees. Then you're going to flip that thing around, and the MDF is going to be your template for your length for your next cut. It almost seems like I'm rambling there, and I hope it's not as confusing as I think it might be. But I hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.